Good over everyone. So we're continuing in the Shemesh Umagen. Now here in Siman Daled, so Rav Shalom Asas would of course defend the Moroccan Minhagim, and here's one of the examples, especially the ones that maybe Rav Ovadia or other great rabbis would try to contest. And this one I know has been a little bit of a hot topic here at Magen David as well, which is do we stand or not stand for the Ten Commandments? So when I came, they told me that each rabbi said stand, don't stand, stand, don't stand. You know what? We're just gonna sit. So let's go through it. So Rabbi Shalom Asas writes the general Moroccan minhag was to stand when the Aseret HaDibrot were being read. This is to reenact Matan Torah and to give it extra kavod, the Ten Commandments. To reenact the kolot and the brakim and the fear and the ema, especially if the shaliach tzibur reads it with proper kavanah, it gives it more chashivut, like we are accepting the Torah again from anew. So too, the Ten Commandments hinted in the Ten Commandments, all 613 are hinted in the Ten Commandments, and therefore it's like standing for the entire Torah, the Aseret HaDibrot. So that was the general minhag. As a kid as well, we used to always stand. So now, some argue on this. So 1 second. So some argue on this. The main big one, and is very, very big rabbi, is actually the Rambam. The Rambam from way back. The Rambam says not to stand. Why? Because he says every part of the Torah is important, and you're giving one part stronger than another part. And what's going to happen is you're going to have tzidukim. So he says tzidukim were people that only believed in the written Torah. They're going to say, you see, it's all about the written Torah. You see, even you guys are giving more importance to this more than that. It's all about the written Torah, and it's going to confuse people. Rabbi Shalom says respectfully that with others, the Chida as well, he brings a slew of Chachamim that argue. And the truth is, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef goes with the Rambam, and he says as well not to stand by the Aseret HaDibrot, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef. Rabbi Shalom says argues respectfully. He says, number one, Ashkenazim do it. And actually, I'm curious to what happened Parashat Yitro. I was in New York that week, and the Ashkenazim, I was in Ashkenaz Minyan for my cousin's wedding, and they stood up over there, everyone. We'll talk about what happened here in a minute. But so Rabbi Shimon says he respectfully argues in the Rambam, and he says as follows: an important point. The Rambam at the time was dealing with people that were tzidukim, Karaites, that they only believed in the written Torah. They were actually a very strong community at that time, and he was dealing with them head on. And therefore, he said, so Rabbi Shalom says looks into like the historical part of what the Rambam is saying, and he says the Rambam had to deal with those people at that time, and therefore, if we read one part of the Torah and we're standing for it, they're going to have people, say, like, you guys, you're reading more chashuv, one part of the Torah. You see, the Torah is the main thing, the written Torah, not the oral Torah, not all those books, not the Gemara, etc. So nowadays, we don't have those type of people. The way people that are chashuv, they're not doing any mitzvot. Nothing. They're not going to come in here and say, oh, this is more important than that. We're battling people that don't do anything, or that don't believe chas shalom or things like that. That's the battle out there. No one's going to come and say. But he says the opposite. Says Rabbi Shalom Asas, if people stand and give it more chashivut, it's going to bring more chashivut to the Torah. So with that, he says that one should hold on to the minhag and should stay standing and should stand for the Aseret HaDibrot. So that's Rabbi Yasayag at the time. So what should be done? And so he says is that a way to kind of make it work for everyone is if there's a rabbi in that shul. They usually call the rabbi up for Aseret HaDibrot, and the people usually stand for the bracha of the rabbi. So they should remain standing throughout the entire aliyah. So, because the beginning of the aliyah is not the Ten Commandments. The beginning of the aliyah is the pre-Ten Commandments. So they're standing for the entire aliyah, so it's not showing that it's dafka standing for Aseret HaDibrot, but at the same time you fulfill standing for the Aseret HaDibrot, and you stand for the entire aliyah. So that was the kind of pshara, the midway of how to make it work kind of according to everyone. So I'm not going to necessarily change what's going on. If the shul decides that, we should go back to the roots of standing, everyone just, standing up by Aseret HaDibrot. What? So that's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm not here to change anything, but I think the way it's been working has been okay. I think the people stand, when go up, and the whole Aseret Dibrot, and that works. One thing I do want to point out, I remember a friend of mine, a non-religious friend, when I was a kid, and he wouldn't come to shul regularly, a neighbor of mine, but I remember one time we were kids, and he said something like, "Oh, was today the Ten Commandments? Did I miss it? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it." He would always make a point to go over the Ten Commandments, right? So there was a thing for it, right? That they come to hear the Aseret Dibrot. Okay, that's that for today. Mincha tonight at 5:45, and the shiur is on for tonight. Haftarah shiur at 8:30 tonight. Have a good day, everyone.